This year, more than ever before in football, there has been a huge uproar about the Ballon d'Or. The Ballon d'Or awards the best player in football with the prestigious award, and although in recent times after the domination of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi of said award, we have had some award winners that maybe people don't fully agree with. But this year, well, this year is different. People have gone as far as to say that this award has now lost all credibility, with all the rumors looking likely that Vinicius Jr will be the recipient of the award. People say that he has not done anything special, and rather guys like Jude Bellingham, Rodri, Haaland, and even Mbappe deserve the award ahead of Vini Jr. But to me, how can people put all their biases aside, watch Vini play, look at his stats, and still say that if he wins it, it'll be the most undeserved award ever? I have no idea. Not only did Vini help carry Real Madrid to a Super Cup, La Liga, Champions League, but he had some elite performances with even better stats and underlying numbers. Vini has been simply incredible, and to me, he undoubtedly deserves the award. But just what exactly makes Vini a deserved winner in my eyes? And is there maybe a way that I have it wrong and that someone else deserves this over him? Well, that's what we'll be talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Back of the Net here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, admittedly, Vini Jr.'s start to this season has been short of Ballon d'Or worthy. It's just kind of been terribly slow for him. Now, actually, statistically, Vini Jr. has been on fire this season. He's already scored 3 goals and got 7 assists in 10 games, meaning he has 10 goal contributions in the first 10 games of the season, including getting an assist in the Super Cup final to help Real Madrid secure a 2-0 win over Atalanta. Once again, Vini showed his class on the European stage. But maybe when you consider that 2 out of his 3 goals so far this season were penalties, and when you watch him off the eye test alone, he hasn't quite been as consistent as you would maybe like, still having some breathtaking performances, but also some more mediocre and quiet ones. So even though statistically he has been really good, off the eye test he just hasn't been amazing. But here's the thing, the Ballon d'Or voting period is from August 2023 to July 2024, meaning that Vini's okay start to this season only counts for the next Ballon d'Or and not the one that's set to be handed out soon. So even if you think Vini Jr. has been so poor to start the season, he doesn't deserve the Ballon d'Or, it doesn't really mean anything for the Ballon d'Or that's going to be handed out right now. So then let's actually assess Vini during that voting period. Let's actually assess his season last season with Real Madrid. So of course, the big picture was that Real Madrid without Karim Benzema were absolutely unplayable last year, securing the Spanish Super Cup, comfortably securing La Liga with only 1 loss all season in the league, only conceding 26 goals in the league, and winning the league by 10 points ahead of Barcelona. Real Madrid also secured their 15th Champions League as well. So as far as team success goes, which obviously plays a huge role in that voting for the Ballon d'Or, Vini Jr. more than checks that box. But how about on an individual level? How did Vini get on an individual level with Real Madrid? Well, despite missing 14 games in all competitions for Madrid last season through either yellow card suspensions, injury, or just not being selected for rest purposes, Vini still managed to put up a very impressive 39 games played, scoring a huge 24 goals and getting 11 assists. Now, off of only goal contributions, Vini is behind all of Jude, Haaland, and Mbappe. But when you consider Vini only managed 39 games compared to Mbappe, who got 48, Haaland 45, Jude 42, you maybe then think to yourself that actually Vini was still elite last season when he was on the pitch. Look, say what you like about him, but I think it's fair to say that just off of his numbers, Vini more than played his part for Madrid. But when you take an even deeper look at Vini and his season last season, you'll gain a whole new sense of respect for Vini. The only game Real Madrid lost in the league last season was when they lost 3-1 to Atletico Madrid. Well, Vini Jr. did not play in that game because he was out injured, and Vini only played 1 game in where Real Madrid lost last season, that being a 4-2 loss to Atletico again after extra time in the round of 16 in the Copa del Rey. I know Real Madrid only lost 2 games last season, so saying that Vini only lost 1 game last season, that doesn't really mean much, but the only game that Real Madrid lost in normal time, well, Vini didn't play. And Vini throughout the season last season for Madrid had some huge moments and some huge performances. I mean, he got a brace away from home against Valencia, he got a goal and 2 assists against a Girona team that was sitting second at the time. He went on a 3-game tear in the league, scoring 5 goals and getting an assist in those 3 games. He got a goal and an assist in a 3-2 win over Barcelona in the league. He got a crucial goal against RB Leipzig in the round of 16 Champions League. He got 2 assists against Manchester City in the first leg of the quarterfinals. He got 2 goals in the first leg of the semi-finals against Bayern Munich. He scored a goal in the Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund, and he got a hat-trick against Barcelona in a 4-1 win in the Spanish Super Cup final. He has more than showed up in the big games when his team needed him most. So some people saying that Vini Jr. didn't really impact Real Madrid as much as someone like Jude Bellingham, and he was simply just carried by all of the good players. Well, that is just stupid and a complete lie. Now that I've covered Vini Jr.'s club season, I'm sure we can all agree it was an elite club season for Vini. With his national team, to say that Vini and Brazil were very disappointing, well, that would be an understatement. Getting bounced by Uruguay in the Copa America quarterfinals, well, that's just not good enough for Brazil. Now, Vini didn't play said game against Uruguay because of a yellow card suspension, but against Costa Rica and Colombia, he simply was not good enough. He did manage 2 goals against Paraguay, but overall, Vini and Brazil were just extremely poor in the Copa America. So that, in my eyes, does maybe put a little bit of a stain in Vini Jr.'s Ballon d'Or campaign. But when you consider that he played just 3 games for Brazil in the Copa America, getting 2 goals, it was a Brazilian team that was very disjointed and lacked the talent of Brazil's teams of old, well, I really don't think it's all that huge of a deal being able to just 3 games compared to 39 games for Real Madrid. Now that's all well and good, but you have to compare him to who he's up against. So when you compare him to his counterparts for the award, I think it makes it clear that there is only one winner. Now, Rodri was amazing for Spain and Manchester City. We all know how much Rodri is a game changer, but I mean, even statistically from defensive midfield, to play 50 games, getting 9 goals and 14 assists in those games from defensive midfield, plus getting a goal against Georgia in the round of 16 of the Euros, Rodri statistically was outstanding for club and country. But I think we all know deep down inside that Rodri was never in the running for the Ballon d'Or. Before Spain went on their amazing Euro run, Rodri was undoubtedly maybe a top 10 player. Spain went on a really good Euro run with some really high-level players playing really well, like Lamine Yamal, Morata, I mean, I can go on, Carvajal was amazing, and Rodri himself was amazing, but he wasn't in the running before Spain went on their run. And while Zubimendi came on for Rodri in the second half of the final, and well, we didn't really miss Rodri. Now, I'm not saying Zubimendi is better than Rodri, I'm not saying that Rodri didn't have an impact for Spain, but maybe his impact for Spain during the Euros specifically maybe wasn't as big as some people make it out to be. Jude Bellingham was amazing in the beginning of the season, but when you look at his numbers, especially as the season wore on, it wasn't really Ballon d'Or worthy. He had 2 assists in the whole Champions League knockout stages, which just isn't good enough for someone that's set to win a Ballon d'Or, especially when you consider that Vini Jr., well, he got 2 assists in 1 game in the knockout stages. He did get an assist in the Spanish Super Cup final against Barcelona, but I don't think he was absolutely outstanding. I think Vini was by far the best player on the pitch. He did have an amazing goal against Slovakia, that being a last-minute winner for England, but he also had moments during the Euros, blame Southgate, blame whoever you want, he had moments during the Euros where he also just kind of went ghost and lacked that end product for England. Jude was amazing, no doubt, but I don't think he was better than Vini, and I think Vini showed out more in those bigger games. Erling Haaland, of course, he was outstanding, scoring 38 goals in all competitions, but again, he didn't really show up when the lights were at their brightest. Against Real Madrid in 2 legs in the Champions League quarterfinals, he didn't score a single goal. Against Sevilla in the Super Cup, he didn't score a single goal. Obviously, his country didn't even get to the Euros. In 4 games played against Arsenal and Liverpool last season, he scored just 1 goal in a Man City side that was as stacked as they were. In the Community Shield, he didn't score a single goal. He scored 5 goals against Luton in the 5th round of the FA Cup, but then followed that up with a blank in the quarterfinals against Newcastle and a blank in the final against Manchester United of the FA Cup that Man City would go on to lose. So as good as Haaland was statistically, I don't think he showed up in the biggest of moments as needed. And Mbappe, well, he was outstanding, of course, scoring 44 goals, getting 10 assists, 54 goal contributions in 48 games is outstanding, regardless of the league, regardless of who you're playing. But for France, I think he really struggled, only scoring 1 goal throughout the whole Euros. In the Champions League, he did have a brace against Barcelona in the quarterfinals, but drew up some blanks against Borussia Dortmund in the semis, and a lot of his other goals were scored in Ligue 1, a Ligue 1 that PSG would go on to win, but I don't think you should get any praise for that. So although guys like Rodri and Jude to me have one of the strongest arguments to win the Ballon d'Or, I just don't think it eclipses Vini and what he did last season. Now the thing is, I think the huge reason that people don't want to see Vini win the Ballon d'Or has nothing to do with how good he is on the pitch. Vini Jr. is one of the most hated players for his antics and his personality. Real Madrid fans even get very tired of his antics that he puts up. Constantly crying, constantly complaining, always shouting at the refs, always shouting at other players, and I get that he rubs a lot of people the wrong way. You don't have to like him on the personality standpoint, you don't have to like his antics, but that should not take away from what he did last season and how good he was on the pitch last season for Real Madrid. I just don't think that would be fair to Vini, and that isn't what football's about. I think if you can take away his antics, take away his personality, I think a lot more people would be in agreement that Vini deserves the Ballon d'Or. Vini was outstanding for Real Madrid last season. He showed up in the biggest of moments, had some elite numbers, and he by all means deserves the Ballon d'Or.